We've received a distress call from the USS Callisto, which was on a research mission in a little explored area of the Delta Quadrant. We're not sure what happened to the Callisto, but we need someone to check it out. There are a lot of people on the Callisto, good Starfleet officers and researchers. Bring them home.
We arrive in the Marconia sector, the origin of the USS Callisto's distress call, and find it eerily silent. The call for aid appears to have been quietened. We soon detect a debris cloud consistent with the mass of a lunar-class vessel, the same class of starship as the Callisto, or USS Titan. We move cautiously in to investigate the area, looking for escape pods, aware that there has been an unseen power in the Delta Quadrant that has been systematically destroying other stellar organisations such as the Krenim Imperium or the local Borg. Let's hope that they haven't turned their attention to the Federation. There are no life signatures detected among the wreckage. 350 souls seem to be lost. There is, however, the station that the Callisto was investigating, and as we close in, we receive a hail. Survivors.
This is 7 of 9, part of a Federation research team assigned to the USS Callisto. My team and I were investigating this outpost when the defense systems activated and destroyed the ship.
7 of 9, this is Hale of the USS Armiger responding to your distress call.
I am aware of your service record. Thank you for responding to our request for assistance. I was able to deactivate the outpost's defenses, but the system sent out an automated distress signal upon shutdown. It is logical to assume that someone will be arriving to investigate. Please transport my team and me to your ship. I will be of more assistance to you there.
I hope your science team can elaborate what happened here. We close into transporter range, so it sounds like the science team triggered something in this station and it lashed out at the USS Callisto, taking it by surprise. They managed to send out a distress call, but were lost with almost all hands. The station meanwhile has sent out its own automated call, so we may have to hurry.
Long-range sensors are picking up inbound energy signatures. Voth ships. They must lay claim to this system.
Attention, trespassing endotherms. You are trespassing in Voth-aligned space. Surrender now, and we will allow you to live out the remainder of your lives on a prison world.
Can't say that sounds too appealing, Commander Spikey. Of course, we could always talk about this reasonably and not resort to trying to blast each other out of the sky. No, I didn't think the Voth would be that hospitable. Ever since the discovery of the solenoid Dyson sphere, our two peoples have been at odds as they pressed their claim to the ancient technologies on display, pitting them at odds with the Dyson Joint Command's choice to neutralise the Omega particle generators. This probably isn't an issue that's going to be solved overnight. 2 Palisade frigates and a Bastion cruiser transwarp in, and we pull the Armiger back to hide it behind an asteroid. Unlike the Kazon and the Malon, prior threats we've faced in the Delta Quadrant, the Voth are a power to be reckoned with, if not faced with every precaution. Unfortunately, when it becomes clear that they will not fall for the bait of trying to pursue us, we have to move the Armiger in to attack. We engage the Voth and, fortunately, are a match for the small squadron. We are able to destroy a smaller frigate by focusing it down, but the Bastion is another ballgame altogether, so for now we'll weather its powerful strikes and focus down the second frigate. The Voth have the ability to phase their smaller vessels out of our realm somewhat, making them untargetable, but eventually we overpower the smaller frigate, leaving only the larger cruiser. However, the beating it's been dishing out has taken its toll on our shield systems, and they're weakened with port and force shields redlining. A further assault from the cruiser renders them offline completely, and we have to divert emergency power to get something back to protect us. Although our ablative armour takes a beating, the structures hold long enough for repair teams to restore main shields, and we avoid suffering the same fate as the Callisto. That is, until a second shockwave takes them down again. Our hull integrity is under great stress and our shields are flickering inconsistently. As if to complicate matters further, the Bastion can erect incredibly strong directional force fields that nullify all of our attacks from that angle. So I give the order to pull out and regroup, giving us hopefully enough time to get our systems back in operation. Using the age-old tactic of breaking line of sight, we fly the Armiger behind a rock to cower in fear for a few minutes to get our shields back online. Fortunately, it seems that our repair teams are far quicker than the Voths, as they haven't even managed to repair their hull damage from our round 1. This time, when their shockwave hits and our shields fail, we've kept power in reserve to restore them immediately, allowing us to stay in the fray a little longer and score some large hits. We press home our attack as we continue keeping up the pressure. The Voth are a highly advanced species, and had this been a larger vessel, I don't think we'd have stood a chance. But as the enemy hull approaches critical, the worst happens.
Alien vessel, you have violated a Voth facility and will be.
Oh boy, that's a lot of ships. What the?
Where are they going? It's not like the Voth to leave a battle they would have clearly won.
Not that I'm complaining or anything, but yes, that is odd. Then we receive a hail.
This is a general distress signal for any ships in range. This is the Turei homeworld. We are under attack by an unknown force of immense power. We require immediate assistance.
Turei. I'm not familiar with them. 7?
The Turei are a spacefaring culture that Voyager encountered in 2376. They claim ownership over the underspace, which are corridors through subspace that significantly shorten travel times here in the Delta Quadrant. Command has been attempting to contact them, without success. Access to the underspace would be a distinct advantage for our fleets.
Did the Voth move off to attack the Turei, or are they also responding to the distress call?
That is one possibility. To my knowledge, the Voth and Turei are not enemies. However, there is still much we do not know about the Delta Quadrant.
That is true. Voyager's journey took them across many areas and powers, but they only ever got a snapshot of them. Curiosity gets the better of us, and we pursue the Voth fleet.
We have arrived in the Turei system. The Voth ships are in combat, but they are not engaging Turei vessels. Their opposition does not conform to any known ship in the database. Whoever these assailants are, their technology is exceptional. Even the Borg do not have ships such as these.
Oh, this is not promising. I think we may have found our Phantom Menace. One of the ships, a small frigate, alters its course to intercept us. The vessel opens fire, and we turn away from the impact before locking on to return in kind. The small ship is fast and manoeuvrable, and for its size, it packs a punch. Whoever they are, if this is one of their smaller vessels, it's no wonder they could take on the Voth. What's that behind us? Is that a mine? Oh god, did that just open a black hole? Yeah, let's avoid the little blue things now. They're scary. The small ship, emboldened by its victories and our flailing, charges us head on, but we meet it, and we win this game of nerves as it veers away, providing an opening that the Armiger can exploit, drawing flames from the hull of our assailant. The manoeuvres and the assault leave us victorious, but we stagger away with 18% health.
The Voth and whomever they are fighting are speaking on an open channel. We can listen to their communications.
Yeah, let's eavesdrop. I want to know what the hell is going on.
Your defense of the Turei thieves will be your undoing.
The Turei and Voth have a long-standing allegiance. The Turei's exothermic nature makes them superior to the other feeble races of the Quadrant.
Then you will be loyal to the death.
We can see the debris of the destroyed Voth vessels burning up as it's caught in the inexorable gravitational pull of the Turei planet. Fire and metal begin to shower the world's surface, and impacts can be seen from orbit. We cannot let the Turei suffer this alone. While we're here, we need to help.
The surface of the Turei homeworld is being devastated by the debris from the Voth vessels. The Turei do have a defense network of satellites and shields that is capable of protecting them, but the control network is offline. This was intentional. Their attackers deliberately targeted the area during the initial assault. There is a secondary command center on the outskirts of one of their major settlements. If we transport directly there, we will be able to restore the control network. The invaders attacked this facility, but they did not do significant structural damage. They were, however, able to take down the control network controlling the orbital defense grid. That defense grid is the only thing capable of stopping all of the debris from the battle in orbit from raining down on the planet. Small pieces will burn up in the atmosphere, and your ship's weapons can deal with some others, but a significant percentage will get through. Until that grid is operational, there will be widespread devastation.
So, plan of action: find the Turei, get their planetary shield back online, and then they can mount a defense, and we can get the hell out of here. It seems that the assailants have beamed down their own strike force. This must be where the rest of the ships went. The weak calls of a wounded Turei draw our attention, and we see what we can do.
There was a firefight here. One of the Turei is injured, but his condition is stable. He may be able to give us more information about the invaders.
Thank you. My name is Bellis. You're from Starfleet, right?
Yes, I see our reputation precedes us. What happened here?
The ships emerged from the underspace, and they were too close for our defense grid to stop the launch of drop pods. In minutes, they had knocked out the grid controls, and we were defenseless. We barely had time to transmit a distress signal.
This is the second time I've heard mention of underspace. What exactly is it? Some sort of subspace network?
You are not Turei. I cannot reveal our secrets.
Alright, just thought, here to help. Sorry.
If I may, underspace is a network of subspace corridors that extend through much of the Delta Quadrant. Voyager was pulled into one when its warp field interacted with the corridor's radial wall. At the time, we speculated that the corridors would speed our journey back to Federation space. That was not possible.
The Turei seem borderline paranoid on guarding this knowledge. How did your attackers become aware of the underspace?
The attackers were Vaadwaur. Voyager did indeed interact with one of our corridors, but instead of deleting the info as we requested and going on their way, they revived our greatest enemy. All of this destruction, every death, it's all Voyager's fault.
Vaadwaur?
Impossible. It cannot be the Vaadwaur. I would know.
7, you make it sound like you've had contact with the Vaadwaur before. Who are they, and what do they want?
This is all my fault. When we first encountered the Vaadwaur, they were in cryostasis. I foolishly awoke their leader in a moment of curiosity. I didn't know their history. They were conquerors, despots. The Vaadwaur used underspace to rule the Delta Quadrant for decades. It was only when the other races banded together that they were defeated. At the time we encountered them, when I awakened them, Captain Janeway said she probably would have done the same thing. But it wasn't her choice, it was mine. I am responsible. However, the Vaadwaur we encountered did not have a level of technology like what we face here. This is far beyond anything the Vaadwaur are capable of developing in such a short amount of time.
Call me paranoid, but I think I know where they got their technology. But right now, we have a plan.
My analysis remains unchanged. We need to restore functionality to the defense grid. There are 4 nodes located on the edge of this complex. We must restart these nodes and realign them to the central tower to re-establish the grid.
I'll go to the central tower and start the initialization sequence.
Thank you, Bellis. If Starfleet did have a hand in setting things in motion, then we have a responsibility to put a stop to this. As he sets off into the complex, we step among the dead as fire rains from the sky. If 7's recollection of events is true, then one button set all this in motion. There's fighting within the installation as the Vaadwaur fend off the Turei, who are attempting to regain control of the planetary defense systems.
I blame myself for the Vaadwaur's return. It was a door best left unopened. We had to ally ourselves with the Turei to escape the Vaadwaur.
As 7 laments, we locate the first of the inactive towers guarded by a squadron of Vaadwaur soldiers. Fortunately, their ground-based tech is not as advanced as their ships, it seems.
My analysis of this node is complete. Execute the following steps in the correct order. First, you must launch the startup sequencers. Next, you must reinitialize the kinetic dampeners. Finally, you must establish the satellite uplink.
The order in which she suggests the repairs is the order in which we must perform them. It pays here to memorise keywords, as this is multiple choice, and failing one means you have to do it all over again.
Connection re-established. When Admiral Tuvok asked me to leave my post at the Daystrom Institute to assist the Callisto, I thought the probability of seeing Vaadwaur was statistically insignificant.
There's not enough time to go around this next skirmish, and we're going to have to push through. Got to be careful not to hit any Turei soldiers. It wouldn't do for us to be fighting both fronts of this war.
Whatever happens here, we must inform our superiors about the Vaadwaur threat. I have completed my analysis. Complete the following steps in the correct order. Defense node online.
Right, that's 3 down, 1 more to go.
When we first rescued the Vaadwaur, we thought we could be allies.
I feel like she's trying to reassure herself that she did nothing wrong. It's a difficult call to make, and not one I'm going to judge her for. After all, Captain Hale here reactivated a dormant Iconian network and probably screwed things over in a far more impressive fashion than she ever did. So yeah, Armiger, hold my beer.
Uplink established.
Starfleet, I need assistance at the central tower.
Roger that, Bellis, we're on our way. We have to fight our way through some more Vaadwaur en route, freeing up more Turei soldiers, but that's nothing compared to the skirmish that awaits us. At the centre of the complex, between the barricades, the Turei forces are pinned down against Vaadwaur, who are attempting to wrest back control. And after fending off the first wave, we're able to revive some of the fallen Turei soldiers with medical aid. This is something you'll probably want to take the time to do for the incoming assault. We also help Bellis back to his feet.
Your team did an excellent job getting the defense nodes back online and realigned to the central hub here. The restart process will take some time, but the defense grid will be active in about 2 minutes. We'd be in good shape if the Vaadwaur hadn't launched more assault pods. These are mobile transporter pads used to bring more troops to the surface rapidly. I assume they're coming to stop us from restoring the defense grid.
So these drop pods are a mixture of a, escape pod and a transporter enhancer to beam through the shield? It's ingenious. 2 minutes, huh? We can do this.
The Turei took control of underspace after the Vaadwaur were defeated. Clearly the Vaadwaur object.
The firefight that breaks out is a furious one as the Vaadwaur have us surrounded and attack from all sides. The barricades can help, but some soldiers simply charge in to try and break us up.
Vaadwaur reinforcements approaching. Vaadwaur are relentless. The probability of our survival is slim.
Thanks, I hate that. Don't say it again. Whenever we get a moment, we can attempt to heal the wounded Turei to bolster our defences. For 2 arduous minutes, we hold the line, resorting to hand on several occasions and raising the downed soldiers when we can.
Forever.
What is that?
The Voth mechs that we'd fought against on the Solar and Dyson Sphere drop in, and this time they're on our side. Their heavy cannons obliterate the Vaadwaur soldiers. The tide of enemies ebbs and suddenly there is quiet. Temet receives a message from the Armiger saying that the Vaadwaur have retreated back to underspace. It's odd, they seem to be winning.
It is not odd. Voth reinforcements have entered orbit. These Vaadwaur do not want to do battle with an obviously superior force.
You see the wreckage raining from the sky above us? I believe that's at least 90% Voth ships and 10% Voth.
While we did sustain great losses, we have made good on our agreement with the Turei. Bellas, we have restored your defense grid.
Begging your pardon? What?
I'm not interested in petty squabbling about who did what. The grid is restored and we are safe. That's all that matters.
Not to worry, Bellas. I can take the high ground here. And the Voth commander's scarf is bugged. The Armiger informs us that the Voyager just entered orbit too.
Seven of 9.
Admiral.
We detected the destruction of the Callisto. What?
It was your fault! Your ship invaded the Voth outpost! You woke the Vaadwaur!
Vaadwaur. Interesting. Starfleet intelligence did not consider them a threat. We believed their numbers were few and their technology outdated.
Then you were wrong! The Vaadwaur have returned, and no one is safe.
I see. 7. Voyager could use your expertise again. Will you return to the ship?
That would be acceptable.
Very well. We will take the other survivors from the Callisto as well.
Liaise with the Armiger. We'll get them beamed over.
Thank you.
No problem, Admiral. I feel this is probably just the beginning.
Voyager, 2 to beam up.
While the debris continues to rain down on the Turei, at least now the planet is protected. But this is a can of worms. The Vaadwaur is a threat that Starfleet will have to accept culpability for, at least in some measure. Even if we're technically not to blame for what they're doing, as Bellas has proven, it's where the blame is going to end up. The Voyager set this in motion years earlier and Starfleet thought nothing of it. The Vaadwaur was 700 years out of date. What harm could they do? But it looks like they may have caught up, even succeeded current technologies, and with their militaristic and conquest-focused society, they're not going to be an easy issue to deal with. We can't sweep them under a rug the second time. The one good thing to come out of all this, I suppose, is that we stopped them here. But even that's unlikely to earn us friendship from the Turei, affected so as they are by the Vaadwaur's return, and the Voth, well, I wouldn't put too much stock in their cold shoulder. Though I guess it is an improvement from active aggression.
Thank you for assisting 7 and lending aid to the Turei. However, the discovery that our old foes, the Vaadwaur, have made such a leap in technology and are now threatening the entire quadrant is troubling.
I was just explaining the same thing to my crew.
Thank you. Without your help, my team and I may have been killed by the Voth. Now, however, I must turn my attention to the Vaadwaur. I am responsible for their return. I must assist in their defeat.
Then I have no doubt that our paths will cross again. I guess we can try to reach out to the Vaadwaur, but, well, the Voyager sort of burned that bridge when they allied with the Turei, and we've just kind of reinforced that. And as for the Turei, maybe we can get through to them, but damn it, we were here to make more allies against the Iconians, not make new enemies. Although if my suspicions regarding the origins of the Vaadwaur's new tech can be verified, then perhaps it's all the same enemy. Perhaps the Delta Quadrant has unwittingly been fighting in the same shadow conflict as the Alpha Quadrant. We'll have to wait and see, gather intel as we continue our efforts in the Delta Quadrant, and I hope to see you there as we continue to wade through the ever-expanding narrative of Star Trek Online. And who'd have thought it? 50 main episodes done, as well as numerous spin-offs and side quests. Thanks for watching them, and getting Stoffs this far. Sincerely, these do take a bit of effort, but it's fun to do them. I hope to see you again. And until the next video, I've been Rick. Thanks again for watching, and goodbye.